Guys, in this corner, weighing in at 182 pounds, from Vancouver, British Columbia, we have the kosher cowboy, Shlomo McPeake. How's it going,
Wow,
Shlomo?
wow, thank you, Sid.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm
Yeah,
glad to be here.
I'm so excited to have Shlomo on the podcast. So,
Sid.
Shlomo and I met at Sugar Ray's boxing gym here in Vancouver on West 3rd Avenue. And he just came from a workout, actually. So,
Yeah.
want to tell us a bit about that?
Okay, Sugar Ray is the greatest gym in the history of Vancouver, the world, possibly, no doubt. And I was just there, and Daniel and Carlos were
Hmm.
there, the lead trainers at
Shout out to
Sugar
them.
Ray's.
Yeah.
Nice, well done. And yeah, got to go in there, incredible outdoor sauna in there, 24-hour free parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, an outdoor sauna,
Hmm.
incredible,
And
right?
the cold
Yeah.
plunge buckets from the top as well. It can't get better than that.
No,
In this weather, yeah,
in all year.
all year
In the
round.
winters, I've imagined, and I guess you have, maybe you're a new member. I don't
I
really
am.
know. You are,
Yeah.
okay. In the winter, imagine this, and I've experienced it, the sauna, and it's snowing outside,
Oh
and you're
no.
sitting on the patio chairs, and it's
How often have you
incredible.
done that?
Many times
Many
through this
times?
winter, yeah. More
Wow.
times than I can count, but not
Wow.
as many as I should do. It should be every day at that. We're so lucky to be privy to
Oh yeah.
that
Hmm.
space and that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Well, for context, guys, Shlomo is a professional Canadian boxer, and he's got documentaries done about himself. He's got his own blog, and we'll talk about that in a bit.
thanks, Sid.
And yeah, and he may or may not call out a YouTuber.
Yeah, Jake Paul. He's referring to Jake Paul.
Jake Paul.
Okay, I can't go nowhere these days without somebody asking me when are you gonna fight Jake Paul, and I'm happy. I'm gonna use this opportunity to make a big announcement. We've been in process for a long time now in negotiations, and I can tell you, Sid, we are halfway there right now.
With you and Jake?
Yes, halfway.
No
I will.
way.
Yes.
Let's go.
I will fight him anytime, any place, anywhere for nothing. So we
Let's
got the first half taken care of, but I haven't heard nothing from him yet.
Not yet.
No.
So what's like the negotiation process looking like with his team and your team? Like what's that process like?
Well, we're having a difficult time getting them to the table. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
honest with you, but yeah, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, like that's part of the process, I guess, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shlomo, like you're a professional boxer, so could you
Thanks.
give us like a bit of a backstory? Like what got you into boxing in the first place?
Wow, thank you for asking. I just grew up with boxing all around me,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. It was just always my most favorite sport that I wished to imagine to do at some
Right.
point.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And I started boxing here in
Mm-hmm.
Vancouver at, at the late age of 16.
Wow.
Yeah, at the Astoria Boxing Club. Sadly, down to I don't want to call it the pandemic, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the Astoria Club, that
Mm-hmm.
one of the casualties of it, the Astoria Boxing Club.
Right.
And that place, if you know it, are you familiar to the
Yeah,
Astoria Boxing
you
Club?
told me about it actually in the sauna.
Okay, thanks. Oh,
Yeah.
wow, yeah. Place is incredible, but it doesn't exist anymore,
Damn.
and that's where I began boxing on the. I must have told you this. Visit my blog, Shlomo McPeake, Confessions of a Tomato Can, and 8888, that eternal summer day. That's the day I started boxing
You
at
started
the
on
Astoria.
8/8/88.
88. Yes.
What's that? 8 August 1988.
Yes.
Wow. 8
Yeah.
August. I like the way it lined up. Yeah, like
Yeah. So I could
wow.
never quit. That's the
Mm-hmm.
problem. It's
Wow.
that eternal day.
Yeah, that's crazy. So like
Thanks.
you started your professional career at 16 or
No, no, that's when I first ever wandered into a local boxing gym.
right.
I didn't actually, thanks for asking, I didn't actually have my first fight until 1990
Right.
in at a Tough Man
Mm-hmm.
in Nanaimo. So technically a professional card because you're fighting for money, although it's the only person who gets any money is the one who wins the whole
Oh yeah.
tournament. And so I got knocked out in the final.
Wow. You
Thanks.
reached the final. You reached the final though. That's a win.
Yeah, but it was courtesy of what may have been. But I think they still argue about it in the Bible. I got a gift decision in the first fight.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
but whatever. But I did make it to the final. But I got knocked out by Kid Thunder Shane Sutcliffe,
Mm-hmm.
who who went on himself to a sort of a locally famous career anyhow. But yeah, even that was a long time ago.
Wow.
Thanks.
So you've been boxing for since 88,
Yeah,
technically, and
yeah.
that's like I can't even calculate how many years that is.
Yeah, thank you. I don't want to do the math either. But I know I've got to be at least 37 by now.
Wow.
So I don't know how that fits in,
37
at least.
at least. So
Yeah.
we
And
could
I've been
put
saying that for a couple of years already.
right. So
So.
did you take a break in between from boxing?
Mm, not really, sort of. Not from the age of 18 anyhow, when I first really joined in the Queensboro Boxing Club in New Westminster, and then had a pretty spotty amateur career of 63 fights. So I had a lot
Wow.
of fights, and I went to a few places.
Mm-hmm.
After not doing that well for about 6 or 7 years in the amateurs and having many fights and losing about as much as I won, I realized, well, I don't have a future in this, so I better turn professional.
Right.
And so I went professional.
What did you do
And
professionally?
sorry,
What did you do professionally? Like for the
I had so my first fight. Actually, I rejoined the Tough Man
right.
circuit and fought a couple Tough Mans. Won my second one in Penticton at the classic dive biker bar Slack Alice's.
Oh no way.
If you know Penticton, you must know Slack Alice's. Everybody knows. Do you?
I know Panding. I'm
Oh,
not too
you know
sure.
Penticton.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, do you know Slack Alice's? No.
I don't think so.
Okay. I mean, it
Yeah.
would be even before your time. You're so
Yeah.
young. But anybody what grew up in Penticton knows
Mm-hmm.
Slack Alice's. Anyhow, it doesn't exist anymore. But I won my last Tough Man there. So I still remain the Penticton Tough Man champion to this day. I maintain. And then after that, I had my first technically professional fight against the Gentleman Assassin Ben Smith at the really great Peony Gardens,
Right.
promoted by the great Jerry Jonko,
Mm-hmm.
who BC Boxing owes very much to him for promoting fights and trying to hustle him all these years. And then I went on and had fights in casinos in Washington State, fought in Edmonton, fought in Winnipeg a couple of times.
Right.
and just a little here and there,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
Wow. So you've
yeah.
had quite the career going from amateur to professional, and like your professional career has also like been, well, to say the least, like pretty crazy. Like with this with these fights and like have I'm curious, like what was the first time? Like what was that feeling you had the first time stepping into a ring? Like was it fear, nervous, excitement? Like because you're about to
Thanks.
get punched in the face. So like what was that
Yeah,
feeling?
yeah. Thanks. I was so unwise to the whole experience. My first time, which was a tough man fight. So I hadn't even been to a boxing gym at this point
Mm-hmm.
in my life, really. I mean, I'd been to the Astoria, but in 1988, but I quit that gym after a week of going there. And, always imagined, wished I would return, which I did later on in my amateur so-called career. But so I went into the first tough man. Now I'm graduated high school. And that's another, please visit my blog. Um, my first time in the ring.
First time
Did
in
you
the
read
ring.
that
I did not
story?
read that one. I wanted to
Okay.
save the experience for in person.
Thanks.
So yeah.
Yeah, so
What was that? Like, what was that feeling though? Like, what was the like?
uh
Did your heart drop like inside your stomach? Like, what was that?
well, I was so unwise to the.
Hmm.
I don't know that I was nervous so much as what I remember most is the fight itself, and I definitely flattered myself ahead of the whole thing, and but it was pretty quick that I don't know. It was such a tough, hard fight, my
Oh
first
yeah.
fight. And any of my ruminations that I don't know. But that definitely learned me that if I'm going to do this, I've got to actually proper train.
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually I went to an amateur club and fought for years that way.
Mm-hmm.
But my first feeling, yeah, it was terrible. And I guess, every fight I've ever, yeah,
Like, what's the feeling? Not even first fight though. Like, say,
yeah.
what's the feeling entering the ring now? Like, I know you must be having like obviously a ton of experience entering the ring, but like, what's that feeling you have before you enter the ring for a pay-per-view?
Well, I mean, I've never been near to a pay-per-view card or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. And excuse me, it's curious for me a little bit. Because all those many fights I had, I never really honestly wanted any one of them too much, really, but I always imagined that I would one day be able to box and as I wished to, but it was in some unforeseen future time.
Mm-hmm.
And now that time's arrived, and I totally wish for any kind of fight. Definitely Jake Paul or Mike Tyson or Tyson Fury. And I
What about
really,
what about the other guy?
uh,
Tyson
yeah,
Fury's younger brother.
Alexander Usyk, Tyson
Canelo.
Fury. Sorry,
Canelo.
Canelo for sure. I
Yeah.
would love to fight Canelo. Yeah, and honest to goodness, I think all those fights make sense. And no doubt, and this is not saying much, but no doubt, I've never boxed better than I am boxing right now.
Wow. What makes you say that?
I just know as I'm boxing and training, it's like, okay, finally, this is how I wish for. This is how. But now that I really wish and can fight at my best,
Mm-hmm.
um, I can't get a fight for begging. And I believe that's down to the heightists, the agists, and the defeatists, and that the status quo has become conspired against me.
What do you mean
And
by that?
thanks, well, excuse me.
I'm curious. Like, what do you mean that conspired? Like, I don't know.
Thanks, I know. Okay, I definitely think I should get. Boxing is the last of the great free enterprises, and pretty much anything can happen
Mm-hmm.
in boxing. Like, there's no real reason, for example, why I could not get a chance quite easily for the avenues to be put together and get a fight with a Tyson Fury. And that's what makes the Rocky movie resonate and so real, as a person could not play in the super I could not play in the Super Bowl on I those avenues are available, are it's possible in boxing. And so I don't know, I just
Right. It is possible for you to fight these guys.
yes, totally.
Like, the big dogs right now.
Yeah,
Like, who everyone like is talking about, raving
yeah,
about.
yeah.
And how would you reach out to them? Like, how would you prepare for a fight with Mike Tyson like walk us through what your training regimen would look like for that.
I not much different than I'm doing right now. I mean,
What is it right now?
thank goodness for Sugar Ray's, open 24 hours a day, which is incredible. Excuse me. And yeah, the one thing I would have to do, but I couldn't do it Sugar Ray's because my right to spar has been revoked
No.
by the good Bob McAdam.
What
Yes.
happened?
Thanks. You have to visit my blog again. There's this story called Bloodletting.
Right.
And Sugar Ray's is such a great club on many
Mm-hmm.
different levels and in many different kinds of ways. It used to be on Granville Street right
Right.
downtown. You know that or maybe heard of
I
that.
know the
Or
one we go to right now, but
yeah, before that one, there was a
another one before that.
on right downtown on Granville Street
Oh, okay.
over the bridge. It was right downtown. It was incredible. They had an upstairs, a downstairs. It was just incredible. And the gym where it is now is incredible too. But um, oh, it was so great. Anyhow, upstairs was the reception and the studio in the first room, and then behind it they
Mm-hmm.
had the ring and an open floor for various workouts that would
Mm-hmm.
develop as they do in a boxing
Right.
gym. I don't
Right.
gotta tell you. Yeah.
Like skipping and everything. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. And so one of the things about it and being right there, and the good Bob McAdam um
For context,
would
guys, he is the owner of Sugar
oh,
Ray's.
excuse me, yes,
Yeah, no, I just wanted to give
thanks.
context. Yeah.
Yeah. Would boast that it was the gym with the most members in the whole boxing gym with the most members in the whole world. Maybe it even still is. I don't know. Like, it's definitely unique to Vancouver in a way.
Mm-hmm.
A 24-hour boxing gym, incredible. I think I've gone off on a tangent now.
Yeah, we were like we. I'm curious for sure. Like,
Thanks.
what got your sparring membership
Oh,
revoked?
thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So bloodletting's the story. This is what I think has something to do with it. But basically, Bob sat me down one day and said, and I was at this time sparring so much and so regular, and it was so great about Sugar Ray's. There were so many members.
Mm-hmm.
There was constantly, and so I was sparring sometimes as much as 15 and 20 rounds a day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, with a constantly changing collection of various spar mates. There were so many people coming and going
Right.
at this time, and no doubt some sessions were harder than others. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
You've sparred before.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
it's like. Yeah, like it's and definitely sometimes there can be some needle in
Yeah.
a sparring match, and every spar match should be limited to 2 rounds duration. By the way, but yeah, a match can have some needle in it, and
Did you knock somebody out?
no, 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 not even close, not even close. In fact, it was me that took a embarrassing shellacking. One thing we got to do when you spar is check your ego at the door. It's
Mm-hmm.
not about winning and losing, and but my bloodletting is the name of the story. Again, I'll remind you to read. My nose got you hit me with a punch, and my nose explodes, and instead of and what I definitely should have done, especially he was already the spar mate was already making a total monkey out of it. And then at that point, it would have been a good
Mm-hmm.
point for my own good sense, anyhow. But I should have gone, okay, you got me, I'm out. I gotta. But instead, I got angry and kept charging forward, and just it just got worse and worse.
Right.
And I think I imagine. And then the next time I was at the gym, the proprietor of the gym made the point to set me down and said, "Okay." He was very generous and assured me of my very good standing at the gym,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time informed me that two things that don't happen here no more, you and sparring.
How did you take the news initially?
I was like, well, honestly, I really enjoyed sparring, and it is so great to spar. There's many things, but I didn't actually have ever a fight pending. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe what's the point?
Fair enough.
Anyhow, so I was like, whatever. If ever I do, which I still wish, imagine I'm gonna have a fight. Somehow I'll spar people in the park. I have friends enough that I can rally enough
Right.
and and I'll
Just
get
like,
sparring in. If I do have a fight, I've got to spar. There's no
don't you have a
doubt.
fight coming up?
Well, yes, that's what I told you. Is that
Was
right?
it the Jake Paul one?
Um, Anybody, Jake Paul, definitely. But whichever fight it is, we're definitely halfway there because I'll fight anyone, anytime, any place
Mm-hmm.
for nothing.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And Jake Paul, Mike Tyson are two of my top on that.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Like, I'm curious because you've come up with the golden age of boxing, and like, what's your take with the new era of boxing, like the influencer boxing? What's your take on that? Like,
So,
you've seen both of them, and you're part of the the second era as well,
wow,
technically.
thanks. Yeah.
So, what's your take on this new era of boxing?
Wow. Wow. I certainly don't. Okay.
Mhm.
Excuse me, an aside.
Yeah.
Thanks in answering your question. Okay. So boxing, and it's such a great sport. I don't got a need to tell you thanks. It's such a cultural expression in these things. Boxing has always stood as a harbinger to next great and especially correspondence in popular culture, like writing. The first time printing presses and um, regular publications, it was boxing that was whatever the boxing news magazine in England, which is like one of the first regular. And then radio, all the big fights were on the radio, and then people needed to get radio, and then television. Then all the big fights were on television, and
Hmm.
people all got television, and
Now we have social
then
media. Yeah.
sorry,
Now we have social media, which is like,
yeah, which is maybe so. It makes sense that boxing will be the thing that
Mhm.
corresponds along with that somehow.
Right.
And no doubt, Jake, for example, Jake Paul can fight. And it's like Don King says, if it makes dollars, it makes sense.
Oh yeah. So is it like? Do you think like other guys like KSI and
Okay.
Joe Weller and all these guys? Do you think
Okay.
they can fight or like are they just
Sure, what I've seen of him for sure. Life. Yeah, definitely. I think I seen the really first big YouTube fight
mhm, the KSI
live
versus
at
Joe Weller one?
okay, maybe not the one that happened in England then. It
Logan versus KSI?
yeah,
Logan Paul?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I watched that at a place in town. What was one of the few places that
Right.
showed that fight, but did show it, and that was cool. And yeah, it was a good fight. KSI won, but a lot of people thought Logan Paul should have won, or
Yeah,
Jake
it's,
Paul, or whoever.
yeah, there's always people like it's always split decisions for some reason. I don't know why now. Like it could be some paid off thing, who knows?
Oh my
But
goodness,
yeah, like
the
in
youth are
box.
so cynical today.
Oh yeah,
Easy.
like in boxing, have do you know any instances where there have been like real real animosity between you and your opponent for specifically you? Like has there been
Thanks.
like real hatred? Not hatred is a
Yeah,
strong word, but
yeah.
like you
Thanks.
really want to punch this guy hard with the face off and
Uh,
everything.
you know, thanks for asking, and I'll try and answer the question this way. Um, it's funny about boxing, and definitely some of the people you fight, you really resent, and I mean, they're gonna, but it's like it's okay if I say that about my family, but don't you say that about
Yeah,
my family,
yeah, no.
kind of thing. And
Mm.
that's like as much as you resent, as much as I've resented any of my opponent, I have admiration for him, I guess,
Hmm.
and so that probably informs the whole experience.
Right. Like you want to punch them, but you respect them at the end of the day for like what they done.
For sure.
Right. Because yeah, I can like respect anyone who enters the ring to begin with. Like,
Yeah.
you're willingly entering the ring for, getting punched in the face. Talking about like, getting punched in the face, like, have you been injured very badly or
Thanks for asking. I've been knocked out more times than I can count.
like what do you wake up and like where am I? Like sort of,
Yeah,
oh wow.
totally. Totally. Like I remember, and this I call I call it the first time I got knocked out, but I'd already been knocked out once already. But this one was really knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
I was fighting this rival from my same gym who I had sparred many, many, many times and always imagined that I had the best of this
Right.
person. Sparring is not a fight, and it should never be considered in that kind of
Mm-hmm.
way. Anyhow, we were matched to fight, and the fight was going along just fine as I would have imagined. I was probably getting the better of it. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm sitting on the ground and I'm like, how did this happen? And I said, well, surely I haven't been hit. I would know if that happened. So I go to try and get up, and I go stumbling and fall through the ropes to the other side. Try and get up again, fall to the ropes to the
Oh
other side,
no.
and then I think to myself, okay, I must have got it.
Oh wow.
And of
It's like
course
also
they
super
start
quick,
to
so like
fight.
you don't even like
Yeah, it does it. Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny because I don't know what it is about being knocked unconscious that that everything up to that moment is gone too, and everything, like, yeah, it's bizarre,
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
but it doesn't really hurt.
Well, I'm not. I don't know about that.
Have you been knocked out? Excuse me.
I've not been. I've been unconscious while playing rugby in 10th grade.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've been knocked out in rugby too.
Oh no way. What
Yep,
position did
I've
you
been
play?
knocked out in three sports actually.
Wow. So you boxed, you played rugby,
Not really. I mean, I had
like
a
for
few games.
pastime maybe. You know.
I had a few games,
Wow.
but that certainly is a really rough sport.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry you got knocked out.
No, that's it's part of the experience. It has to
Sure.
happen once, so might as well
Yeah, so
happen right now.
yeah,
But yeah, I've
yeah.
got a bunch of questions actually on my
Okay,
phone, which I'd want to
thanks.
pick your brain on.
Okay.
Um, Let me just get this out. Yeah, so how do you like handle losing a fight? Like, what's that process like? Like, what do you tell
Thanks.
yourself for like to prepare for the next fight?
Excuse me.
Like, what do you tell yourself like prepare for the next fight after you've lost like a match?
Um, well, it would always, I mean, there's no, I lost my last fight,
Hmm.
most recent fight,
When was
which
that?
was been at least 6 or 7 years now, and I've been saying
Wow.
that for a few years already. So
Wow.
it's been a while since my last fight. It the fight that the oh, you never seen my documentary?
And no, I couldn't find it.
Okay, stand up and fight.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of trailers, but I didn't see where I could like I checked Netflix.
Really, it's on Vimeo.
Oh, well, I'll check it out after this pod.
Thanks.
If
You
you guys
know,
want to watch it, I'll leave a link down below with Shlomo's blog link as well, so you guys
thank
can
you.
check it out as well.
Thanks,
I would
Steve.
definitely recommend that. Yeah. So what's the process like? You know.
So that was my last most recent fight. If ever I wanted a fight as a professional, it was that fight because the documentary was being filmed around it. But I knew really, um, I didn't even spar going into that fight. I hadn't really trained at all. I wasn't already by that time, and as a professional, I hadn't been a regular active member at any gym, and that fight was in 2010.
Hmm.
I hadn't been an active regular member at any gym since after losing my last amateur fight,
Right.
which was in 1996. So so anyhow, I lose that fight, no doubt. Bob McAdam was in the corner of the other guy. And then a old good mate of mine who I reacquaint with, famous Vancouver actor and Sugar Ray's member, Zach Santiago.
I've heard of him.
Okay. Um, gets a membership at the gym and I was like, of course. And once I discovered Sugar Ray's, I've imagined now finally everything is right for me to get that fight that I always wished to have.
Hmm.
But
So like the process is just train more,
yeah,
technically.
yeah.
Wow.
Keep training and hoping and writing my blog, which join the Give Shlomo a Shot campaign, but it must exist out there somewhere.
No, totally.
Thanks.
So got a couple of more questions
Thank
here.
you.
So you had the documentary Stand Up and Fight.
Yes.
So who was the opponent you were fighting? Is it this
Oh,
guy?
thank you.
I have a picture pulled up from Goo.
Okay.
Was it this? Was it this fight?
Yes.
Who
Yeah.
was he?
Jamie Walton.
Jamie Walton. And was it
Yes.
a title match?
Stumpy. Jamie Stumpy Walton.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Was it a
Yeah.
title match?
It was for the championship between him and me. But
Wow.
it was a rematch.
A rematch.
Yeah.
So were you the champion before that?
No, he beat me quite handily in Cloverdale months before that.
Mm-hmm.
And that may have even been my most recent fight before fighting him in the rematch. I can't remember, but he beat me on a 6 round decision or 4 round decision, maybe only
Wow.
4 round. And then I was offered a rematch with him in Richmond at the
Mm-hmm.
River Rock Casino, which was just epic. And the documentary crew had been filming me already, and it sort of culminated with that fight, which I lost, even though I imagined, because the movie was filming around me, I imagined I was fated to win that fight.
Right.
So I don't know how I could have lost, but I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't fought since.
Well, well, you got may or may not have one. Like he may fight Jake Paul soon.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Right? Thank you. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
it would be a battle of the ages. Okay.
So I'm curious. In 2024, for example, if I wanted to become a professional boxer,
Okay.
like, would you mentor me into
Yes.
becoming one? Like,
Yeah.
coach me, mentor me,
For
like.
sure. For
So,
sure.
say for example, a viewer right now
Yeah.
wants to get mentored by you.
Okay.
How can they reach out to you or reach?
I don't know.
Do you have like an email section in
Oh,
your blog or something they could reach
yeah.
out to?
Visit my blog, Shlomo McPeake, Confessions of a Tomato Can, and you can comment on there.
Okay,
Anybody could, and I would be glad to return back. Thank you.
pass that
Yes.
knowledge down you have and years of experience you've had, like a new boxer from Vancouver who wants to, make it in the boxing industry.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wide open and anybody could do it,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. It's
But how would you do it in 2024? Because it's like everything is so saturated. Like
yeah.
it's very hard to be a breakout star in any
Yeah.
industry. And I'm pretty sure
Wow.
like everyone's got that dream. Oh, music. I'm gonna be a breakout star. Movies, YouTube, boxing as well. Like what advice would you give someone who wants to really become a boxer in 2024?
Jeez. Well, I mean, the most important and first step would be get your professional boxing license, which is not so difficult as you may imagine it
Mm-hmm.
to be. You would just send a letter off to, for example, shout out to the Washington State Boxing Commission, who many times commissioned me, thank you, who also revoked my license to fight.
They revoked your license.
Yes.
How? Wait, what happened there? Like, why they revoke it?
Because I just lost another fight,
Right.
and
So would you have to reapply?
the doctor after the fight told me I'm not going to license you again or something like that. And
Wow.
to get a professional boxing license
Mm-hmm. Start off
is
out
not
there
that hard, but keeping it is
is
the
hard.
hard part because you gotta win.
Oh yeah.
And if you just keep losing, they'll go like, "What's the point?"
Mm-hmm. I'm curious. Like, have you held a title in your career?
Thanks. I won that Tough Man Championship, so I'm the Penticton Tough Man Champion. In the amateurs, I won a couple. Excuse me, uh, I was the 5-time provincial boxing
Oh wow,
champion as an amateur. Yes,
5 times.
5 times.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is probably crazy.
And I'm curious, like, for you, who is your boxing inspiration? Who is the GOAT
Wow.
of boxing for you? Is it Muhammad Ali,
Okay.
Mike Tyson,
Good suggestions. Good suggestions. I'll say this, Sid, that's a very unfair question.
unfair question.
Yes.
Fine, give me two. I'll allow two. I'll allow two.
Okay. I'm gonna say Floyd Patterson and Jack Dempsey.
Okay, those are really.
Yeah.
Wow. Fair
Thanks.
enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
for sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're just gonna take a quick break here now.
Okay, thank you.
So, Shlomo, I have fortune cookies here,
Ah,
so you're
nice.
gonna
Yes.
pick one up,
I get to do
and you're
it.
gonna have to,
Oh
tell us your
no.
fortune. Choose
Yes,
wisely.
okay.
The
You're
fortune
making me
depends.
nervous.
No, I'm kidding. You can just go for any.
Thanks, okay. So let me open it
Oh, yeah.
over there.
You could even like have the cookie if you'd like.
Okay. I don't think thanks.
Yeah. Let's see which I
You know what?
get.
There's no way I can read this.
What did I get?
That
I can
doesn't-
read it out.
Okay, I think those are the ingredients. Thank you.
So, Shlomo got.
Okay.
Oh my god. So you have got the same one. This same one has come on my podcast thrice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's good because Shlomo got an official document will arrive soon. Now that could be two things. That's good for you.
Okay.
That could be the contract coming from Jake Paul's team
Yeah.
soon. An official document will be coming soon.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, or it could be even
So,
Mike Tyson's team.
yeah.
Or any team.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Okay.
That's a good thing. No, I like that.
Thank you.
And I got the same one I got last time. The time is right to make new friends. This also has
That's all.
appeared thrice on the podcast, guys.
So I would thank you, Sid, those and for sharing those. And I'm sorry you're obviously buying your fortune cookies from a very low grade fortune. There's
Yeah,
yeah,
I got it from some I think a Asian store somewhere on I don't even know where, somewhere Richmond or something.
yeah,
TNT Market
cool.
something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So here's something you guys do not know about Shlomo, which I have researched about, dug about, found out
Hey,
on YouTube
whoa.
that Shlomo is also a comedian.
Thanks, that's right.
Have I seen that? Is that right? Are you a
Yes,
comedian?
well, I'm between shows, yes, but yeah, for that's excuse me, that's one of the reasons that documentary is called Stand Up and Fight
Oh,
because
it's like back and forth.
yeah,
Oh, I did not
yeah,
realize that.
yeah. I have been for since before you were born, since
Yeah.
the turn of the millennium. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and that's all been really great.
So like what type of comedy?
Y- I'll have to. I don't know.
Like could you do a skit or comedy joke? Or I don't know, like what is it that you could you do one for the viewers right now?
Okay. I'll tell you an old movers joke.
Okay.
I'm also, I don't know, in your research, you
Okay.
discovered I'm a professional mover of household furniture.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
With Broadway Moving, Vancouver's longest standing independent moving company.
I never knew that.
No. What kind of research do you people do nowadays?
No, I've been seeing on YouTube. I've been like searching
Okay.
like your matches and Google and
Cool.
Facebook,
Thank you.
X, all of it.
Wow. X.
Yeah, Twitter, X.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that. Anyhows, my stand-up comedy is often household furniture related. And I'll tell you an old furniture movers joke, which is my best furniture movers joke.
Let's hear it.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. But you probably heard this one before. You must know what the one kitchen what the excuse me. You must know what the one dining room chair said to the other dining room chair, right? No, the one dining room chair says to the other dining room chair, he says, we should make like a table and leaf, thank you.
That's good. That's good. That's good. No, I like that.
Thanks. You're being very generous.
I like it. I like it.
Thanks.
I like it.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so Shlomo, like, what's the dream last match for you?
Sorry.
Like, what's your dream last match?
Oh, honestly, if I can, Tyson Fury for the heavyweight
Tyson
championship.
Fury for the heavyweight championship, and if you win it,
Yeah. Then I'd fight as according to the, oh no, actually, Sadly, the Ring magazine is no longer, but I think it still exists in the ether of the World Wide Web. But the Ring, the top 10 contenders, I'll fight the top 10 contenders, assuming I've won the fight. Is that what
Right.
you're
Yeah.
saying? Yes. Then I'll fight each of the top 10 contenders over a separate month in the 1 year. And then I'll retire, assuming I've won all those fights. But will retire if ever I lose a game.
So you want to retire with the win?
But yes, of course. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, of course.
Wow. And I love that. I love that.
Thanks.
So yeah, so if you were to win the World Heavyweight Championship
Yes.
and you've beaten Tyson,
Okay. Excuse me.
you know,
Okay, what was your question again?
like if you were to be no, like what if you were to have won that championship and
Okay.
you know
Against Tyson Fury.
yeah,
Yes. Okay.
so would you
Assuming
hang up
okay.
the gloves then?
No, that's what I'm saying. Then I would, because
Fight the other top 10 contenders.
yes, I think that would only be the fair and proper thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
If one fight seems insincere,
Right.
I think. But likely I would make it through all the top 10 and I would lose first. And then, okay. Or maybe not. Even maybe just the one Tyson Fury fight. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
But,
That'd be fun. I would not be saying that if I was getting in the ring with Tyson Fury.
yeah.
No, yeah, but so Shlomo, before we, leave or whatever,
Thank you. Yes.
what is one piece of advice you'd give to anyone who wants to like do what you do?
Do what I do. Okay. If you want to do what
For
I
the younger
do,
generation.
okay. If you want
Yeah.
to do what I do, don't pay attention in class.
No, in the boxing industry to make it specific.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. You gotta train and just keep moving.
Just keep going with
Just keep moving.
staying consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
consistency is big for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Shlomo, I can't wait for you because I know this is gonna happen. Shlomo's gonna be fighting. You gotta manifest it. Shlomo's gonna be fighting Jake very soon, guys. It's gonna be
Holy,
happening. And when you guys see this
awesome.
podcast, you're gonna be like, Sid knows this guy.
Yeah.
Sid, Sid
Thanks,
called it that
Sid.
Shlomo's gonna beat him. I'm calling it from
Wow.
now, guys.
Okay, thanks, Sid.
But yeah, Shlomo, is there anything else you'd like to say before we?
No, thank you for having me.
No, thank you
And
very much.
thanks anybody who's watching.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for coming on, and
Okay.
we'll leave a link in the description down below of
Thanks.
Shlomo's blog. It's called Confessions of a Tomato Can, and I'm also going to be leaving a link to his documentary, The Stand Up and Fight. And Shlomo was kind enough to get me a book. It's called Reading the Fights, and I definitely will be diving into this book soon
Good.
because I do want
Thanks.
to, read up more about boxing.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for
Thanks.
gifting me this book. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
Of
Thank
course,
you
yeah.
for imagining to read it. You'll enjoy it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching.
Thanks.
This is episode 6, and thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, guys, we'll see you soon.
Good
Cheers.
day.